Welcome to the Permian podcast, where today we explore the critical intersections of conservation, community, and fairness. Today we have a special episode focusing on the pivotal role of Indigenous people and local communities in our conservation efforts. We'll also delve into the top 3 important community considerations when developing conservation projects and discuss strategies to ensure fairness in these efforts. Our first question today is a fundamental one. Why do Indigenous people and local communities play such a pivotal role in conservation efforts? To help us understand this, we have Itala Yepez, Community Strategy Director at Permian Global and lifelong conservationist. Welcome, Itala.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start with our first question. Why do Indigenous people and local communities play such a pivotal role in conservation efforts?
Right. So imagine living in a forest where every sound and change carries a meaning, right? That's the daily reality of Indigenous peoples and local communities. These folks are the heart and the soul of the forest. Having lived there for generations, their connection isn't just a matter of being residents. It's a profound bond that grows through centuries and traditions, stories and experiences. This intimate relationship means they've got an encyclopedia of forest knowledge in their heads, what we call traditional ecological knowledge. They understand the ecosystem rhythms, the behaviors of its creatures, and the secrets of its plants. So when we talk about conserving the species, it's a no-brainer. Indigenous peoples and local communities aren't just participants, they are the main character. Without their insights and guidance, it's like trying to solve a puzzle without the picture on the box.
That's really fascinating, Itala. Could you share some examples of how this traditional knowledge has contributed to successful conservation initiatives?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. So, for example, the indigenous communities in the Andes have traditionally managed their high-altitude paramo ecosystems. Sustainable agriculture, water, and fire management are some of their main traditional practices, ensuring the conservation of its unique biodiversity and regulating water supply for downstream communities. In other places like Africa, local communities have established community conserve areas where traditional norms and rules regulate the use of resources, often reassuring it in successful wildlife conservation.
Thank you, Itala, for shedding light on that. I'd like to shift now our focus to project development. Our second question today is about the top 3 important community considerations when developing conservation projects. Itala, could you share some insights on this?
Absolutely. When developing projects, it's crucial to prioritize inclusivity and participation, respect for traditional knowledge and practices, and ensuring equitable benefit sharing.
Could you elaborate on these considerations? And again, why are they so vital?
Certainly. So let's use an analogy. Just imagine you're planning a big party at a friend's place. Before you bring out the speakers and the snacks, you'd first ask if they are cool with it, right? That's our first step, free, prior, and informed consent. It's about making sure that the community is not just informed, but genuinely on board with what's happening. Now, once they have given the green light, instead of just imposing your own playlist, you'd ask them about their favorite tunes. This is the participatory approach, where everyone chips in their ideas and concerns, making the project a collective endeavor. And lastly, it's all fun and games until the bills come in. When using the resources or changing their landscape, it's only fair that they benefit too. This could be through jobs, training, or sharing the project revenue. Essentially, it's about making sure the community doesn't just give, but they also get something valuable in return.
Thanks, Itala. These sound like very critical community considerations. Now I'd like to move on to our final question for today. And the final question is about strategies to ensure fairness in conservation efforts. What can organizations and individuals do to promote fairness in these initiatives?
Yeah, Mike, fairness in conservation is essential, and it involves respecting principles like free, prior, and informed consent, equitable resource distribution, transparency, accountability, and adherence to the legal frameworks. I'll discuss how this strategy can be effectively implemented. When we talk about fairness in conservation, think on, for example, a friendship. In any solid friendship, you value transparency. It's about being honest, laying all cards on the table and making sure that there are no secrets or hidden intentions. This is exactly how conservation projects should be with communities, transparent from the get-go. But like any good relationship, it needs regular check-ins. That's our second step. Regularly monitoring and getting feedback ensures that if something goes off, we catch up early and adjust. And lastly, just as there are rules in a game to make sure everyone plays fair, we've got rules in conservation too. These legal and policy frameworks, they act as the referees, ensuring that everything goes on the up, and that the community rights and roles aren't just an afterthought, but are actually at the heart of the action.
It sounds like a really comprehensive approach, Itala, and I look forward to hearing more about it in the future. Thank you so much for your time today and sharing these insights on Indigenous involvement in conservation and community considerations in project development. Strategies for ensuring fairness are key to what we do, and we hope that everybody listening to this episode today has enjoyed Itala's insights. Thank you for joining us, Itala.
Thank you, Mike.